Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday. It's April 7th, 2021. Well, it seems a far cry from the 70s and 80s we had over the weekend to where we are right now, as we're going to have what I call weather whiplash, which is typical for this time of year. You've got good days, bad days, but nothing that's going to stick for very long. So you're going to have wind and showers and changing temperatures with each front, as we have frontal systems coming every 2 days. So every 2 days, a front will come through. This will be the case through Monday. So you'll have good days, you'll have bad days. Now, long-range forecasts, we have a lot of question marks. Some computer modeling has a lot of precipitation in the next 15 days. Some barely have any. We have very low confidence in our long-range forecast once we get past the early parts of next week. We'll talk about that. Overall, it's going to be cooler than warmer over the next week to 10 days. I'm afraid that we kind of got ruined by that Easter weekend of those 70s and 80s. Really, what we see coming over the next week to 10 days is a lot more typical than what we had over the weekend. Now, that's not to say that we don't have good days. It's just we need to keep our expectations in check, that we're not quite there yet as far along into spring as some of us would think, especially after that weekend weather we had. Here's the temperature change over the last 24 hours. You can see how much colder it's gotten over the Rockies and the central parts of the United States with this trough moving on through as compared to where we were just a few days ago. And that cooler air will stick around, but it will get pushed off to the east and we will warm up. Now, I want to show you using Cheyenne. We'll use Cheyenne as the proxy because it's kind of right in the middle of everything. Just want to show you what the high and low temperature trends are going to be here in the coming days. You can see the up today and tomorrow, the down Friday, the up Saturday, the down Sunday and Monday. And then notice out here, these are high temperatures, only 30s and 40s by the middle parts of next week. And that's going to be reflective. Cheyenne is reflective of what the whole region is likely going to be once we get into the middle to the end of next week. Not terribly cold, but a little colder than average. So you'll want to take advantage of Thursday. You'll want to take advantage of Saturday in terms of days to be outside, work outdoors, or to travel, as conditions are going to be a little bit unsettled in the longer term. Not saying we got a big storm coming. We don't see that. But these little fronts will bring a little bit of weather. Now, here's a really good example to show you what happens with the pattern. This is today. This is where the low currently is over western areas of Kansas. But we've got a little sliver. You see this little bulge, a little ridge of high pressure that's coming in behind it. This is what's going to move in for later today and Thursday, bringing the nice weather. But here's the next front right behind it. See this little guy up here? Here's another little low right behind it coming our way. So as we go through tomorrow, we're under this little sliver of high pressure in between waves. So we've got a good day coming our way tomorrow. But as we get into Thursday night and Friday, here comes the next wave coming on through. So overnight Thursday into Friday, it turns colder. There's going to be rain and snow with this front as it comes on through, again favoring the northern areas. Speaking of the northern areas, there were parts of the Black Hills around Hill City. Hill City reported 20 inches of snow in the last 24 hours. So good news for the very dry Black Hills and parts of northeastern Wyoming and western South Dakota that desperately needed some moisture. They got it. Then as we get on into Saturday, you can see that low's off to the east. Here comes the next frontal system, but we have a little sliver. It's not very big, but we have a little sliver of high pressure for Saturday coming our way. Then this next front comes in Saturday night and Sunday. And then as we go into early next week, a large area of low pressure develops from the Great Basin to the high plains and Rockies. Now, I think this pattern is suspect, but I think the general trend of a pocket of cooler air to settle into the central and western areas of the United States next week, I think is legitimate. So that's why we need to keep our expectations in check, that we're not going to have a lot of warm weather over the next week to 10 days. We've got a couple of good days coming on up, but next week is going to be cool and a little unsettled. And there is going to be some precipitation with this pattern. But the question will be, will the heavier moisture be favored up north or will be favored more south? And I think that's where the question marks reside. There are some areas starting off April pretty dry, some areas getting some moisture here recently. We really want to see April as wet as it possibly can be to help out with the very dry conditions that still persist. In fact, a lot of the county roads The dirt roads in parts of western Nebraska, eastern Wyoming, and northeastern Colorado that were muddy just a week ago from the March storm are already throwing up dust. So you lose that soil moisture fairly quickly. You need to replenish it. Over the next 2.5 to 3 days, this is through Saturday, this is the precipitation forecast. And really, most of this moisture you see right here is with the front coming in overnight Thursday into Friday morning. So there is going to be some rain and snow showers in the plains, some snow in the mountains with that front late Thursday into early Friday, but a dry forecast for Saturday and maybe some showers again late Saturday night and Sunday, but nothing really heavy. Taking a look further out into the 10-day forecast, this is next Friday and Saturday, and you can see a broad area of low pressure in the nation's midsection. The heavier moisture will be up here with this storm system if it does develop, but notice the winds aloft are coming in from the north. This is why that long-term forecast for the middle to the end of next week for this part of the nation right here looks to be a bit on the cool side, while high pressure is building along the west coast and bringing some warm spring-like weather there. Now, eventually that will come east, but I think we've got to suffer through a pretty cool week next week before that warmer air and more spring-like weather makes a comeback. Thanks for watching and listening to the Day Weather Podcast. Have a good Wednesday. Better days are to come, tomorrow especially, with some sunshine and warmer temperatures.